So we are at Gentlemen and Rogos Clubhouse. And what's happening, Mahesh? We are in Gentlemen and Rogos Club.
We're in Gentlemen and Rogos Club.
And what we do?
Hey!
You don't have to do that.
Hey! Hey everyone!
So today we're going to do Michael's beard, and loads of people talk about what they're going to do with short beards, different shapes and styles. So we show on Beardbrand loads and loads of big beards, and so it's time to sort of maybe do a bit more sculpting, and we're going to take Michael's down, play with the shape of it, and do something a little bit different. So when we look at Michael's beard, so when you first look at a beard without even touching it, what you want to look for is just when they walk in the door, looking at their natural pattern of growth. So here you can see that the growth pattern is pushed up and it's coming up and forward. Through here, his growth pattern comes down and round and forward and round this way. So the growth pattern's there, and he's got a growth pattern here. When you look at the front, you can see that he has a natural tendency for his beard to come around here. So you can see that this grows round. Even if I just did that, it would encourage that. So it wants to come round. And underneath, you can see that the hair grows along this direction. So it's coming down all the way down here. So you've got this natural pattern of growth all the way here, and then it grows that way. That's why he's getting this kink in here, because when the hair comes this way, it's meeting that, and then he's getting this little kink in here. So this is before we've even started. This is the things that we need to look at. So it repeats on this side. So the hair growth is coming forward here, and then the pattern of growth is coming down, and then what that does, that sits in there and it ends up giving him this lip. And then what we say, the hair's meeting, coming this side and growing in here. So it's growing in here, it's meeting here. Rather than meeting in the middle, it's meeting over to one side, and that's why he's getting that little kink in there. So we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to taper this in a little bit. It's really front heavy, it's a nice shape on Michael, and it sort of suits his face shape. But it'd be nice to sort of just play with it. He's kept the lip a little bit tidy. But I think what I want to do is show off the jawline a little bit more. So this hair here can come away so we can see the jaw. We'll taper this in and we'll blend it out and make this front section the more of a focus for the beard rather than it being the cheek. I just want to put a fresh blade in before we start. My prescription's on the floor. What is it for? A bad back?
No one's looking.
Why are you not picking it up? I've got a bad back. One thing I've noticed on watching a lot of the American barbers, their cutthroats, they have their blades really far out. When we put our blades in our cutthroats, we put them so they're really close to the edge of the main body of the razor. When you watch it on, have you noticed that when you watch it on? They half hang them out. Yeah, it is. Obviously,
definitely more.
There's more blade
for a problem there.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong, but it's just something I've noticed, and I thought, oh god, that looks
bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Cut someone up.
That's it. So I think what we'll do is we'll just clean up around the edges first. So let's just make it clean, make it tidy. Let's just see where we're going with this. So let's just come in just to the front of the ear. I've got to be mindful of the way that Michael's hair grows, because I don't want to be cutting into his locks, so he won't appreciate that. I go up and round and one of his locks just falls off. He's really not going to like me for that.
No.
So I'm just going to clean up the edges, sharpen up the lines before we get going. And if you notice, I've not cut this bit off here. I'm not going to cut that off yet. See, because my natural instinct is just to make a straight line all the way down, boom, 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 take all that off. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll come to that. I'm going to let it happen organically, and as I taper it out, if I think it needs it, I'll cut it off. Okay, so we're going to go in with a 2 open.
Yep.
And we go up either side. So what I'm not doing is I'm not just cutting one side completely and then having to match it up. So I'm going to work it down. So I'll work a little bit of this on one side, see how much is coming off, see how much I need to play with, and I'm going to turn the clipper around. Rather than coming up into the beard, I'm coming down. That way I'll take less off as you come down. Just sort of using the guard to comb it through and gradually taking it off bit by bit so I can really see how much I want to come off. So I'm going to take my guard off, come in with a clean blade and start to just create some shape now. So I'm looking at how that sits. And I'm thinking I'm going to come in about here, just under the jawline. And start creating that shape. Okay, let's have a little look, see how that looks at the front. When I look at the front, I can see there's a little bit of weight here that I don't want. So I'm going to come in at a different angle. Take that off. So let's do this on the same side rather than, like I say, doing it all on one side. Let's start gradually coming down again, combing the beard down with a 2. Let's open that up. And then we'll come in like we did on the other side, just start to mark out just under the jawline. So what I'm trying not to do here is I'm not trying to cut too high up into the hairline here. So we're really just doing this gradually, bit by bit, so I can see where I'm going. I can see whether I need to take more off. I can always come back and cut more off. Cannot stick it back on. Well, I can stick it back on, but it's stupid. So we're going up now, just to go looking for that taper that we did on the other side. So I can take a little bit more off. So, you know, you can use, so this is the thing with beards is that you've got more growth pattern on one side than you have on the other.
Yeah.
So, although I did exactly the same thing, one side looks longer than the other because the growth of the way that just the way the hair naturally sits. So on the other side, when I came down with a 2, took it in quite short. And then on this side, it still looks quite heavy, just purely because of the way that it grows. So we're just coming down with I'm coming down with the growth pattern. So not working against the beard, not coming up against the beard. I'm always going with the growth pattern, so I take less off. And again, I can come back in, take the guard off. And you see what happened here, whereas originally I said I wasn't going to cut down in here. I'm glad I didn't, because it's just, you know, I can taper that out and it still looks soft. It's, you know, it's part of the natural shape of his beard. And all that's going to happen is if I'm going to cut that right off here, within 2 days, he's going to have a massive bit of stubble underneath his ear. So if I leave that and make that part of the beard, he's not going to have that issue within 2 days, which was, you know, this is great if you want to just, you know, if you're always keeping your beard clean and really lined up, that's great. But, you know, I can take that all off, and then all I'm doing is giving him a job to do in 2 days' time. We're going to go in with a 1.5, and instead of going up that way, we're going to come down that way, what we did before, just to see what it takes off. Not very much, so we'll come up just very lightly working our way into the hair. And like I say, I'm really careful about what I cut off here. I don't want to cut off Michael's, see, little bits of hair that can sometimes be fed into a dread, so I'm being really mindful of that.
How long have you had dread for?
I was saying to Alex there, about 13 years there, mate. From 30 years. I always wanted them from a very young age. I crept into a reggae bash when I was about 11. Shouldn't have been in there, and I fell in love with the music, and I wanted to be like these guys ever since that moment. They were on stage, and yeah, they might have been high, but their aura was just amazing. They were just happy. All white guys with the longest dreadlocks you've ever seen. The band was called Jar Works, and from that point I just got into the whole ethos and way of life, I suppose.
So then for the people that are watching this, so do you define yourself as a Rasta, would you say?
Yeah, I would say I'm a Howlite, which is a guy that was crowned the first Rasta.
Okay.
That is doing what we're doing now, which is higher up our consciousness on how we should be behaving as people to one another.
So that's what that represents?
So, yeah, and Howlite, Lead and Percival Howe was, you know, it can be argued, but in my opinion was the first Rasta that spoke of, you know, togetherness.
The rest is history.
A Howlite is someone that believes in the philosophy of Leonard Percival Howe, which was the first Rasta, and he was the biggest, probably, ganja producer, exporter at the time.
Was he?
Yeah, and Winston Churchill closed him down, basically. So they turned back to sugarcane and banana. But at the time, it was bringing in revenues, were untold revenues, which was then serving the community called Pinnacle. And he had all sorts of faiths there, but there was not any one faith. So you had your Hindus and your Christians. Catholics, I suppose, yeah. Anyway, it just really appealed. There was always a churchgoer, and all made sense to me in a little way, but it took, yeah, till I was 30 to really open up.
So again, moving with the hairline, it's going up, tidying it all up. Some people like this really sharp, some people like this really, really, really clean. And then some people will have it just blended in this hairline. Like Carlos, he doesn't like it all like razors underneath. He likes it clean, but you know, he likes a slightly softer edge to it. And because of the way that Michael's beard is, I'm going to do the same. I'm probably just going to soften up this and just keep it nice and clean, but with a slightly softer edge on it, rather than trying to get a really hard contour in there. But I don't think it's going to suit his beard. And just scooping down just to see that line's nice and clean there. Sharpening up around here. And again, being really mindful of like how far back I go, because what happens with the dreadlock is, you know, you can have a piece of hair here that's woven into something over here, so you've got to be really careful. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use the cutthroat on Michael's cheeks, but underneath here, I'm going to keep it as it is, so it's nice and soft. So again, what we're talking about, how quickly Michael's hair grows and the way that it grows out. I just want it to look clean, but I want it to have like a slightly soft edge to it. I don't want it to look really hard and contoured underneath, but we'll keep the contour through the cheeks. That's just like a light oil, just a shaving oil. I don't use it in the barbershop as like for all the customers, because they're great. It's a great tool, but what I've noticed is that you can't roll it onto everybody's face hygienically.
Yeah, that's also great.
Yeah, so I just use it. I just use it for, that's why I rolled it onto my hand and then did it onto my with my finger.
You can come in there and say, well, that's upset, that was 17 quid. I'll tap up to one bloody shot. Let's get all the way over there.
Okay, I'm going to put some oil in. Let's put a little bit of tea tree in. So I'm going to come in and let's put a little bit of oil on the cheeks as well. This is a tea tree one, so it's nice on the skin.
Just made ourselves on.
Yeah, one into the other, pretty much.
So just keeping a little bit of the length through the front,
Yeah,
keeping a nice shape, and just give it a nice taper through the sides.
yeah, that's great.
But not cutting into the back piece of your beard here, because it's a real temptation just to go straight down. But the way that your beard grows, I think you'd lose a little bit of the overall shape if you did that.
Absolutely.
So it softens into that line, and I've kept that line nice and soft here. And I've not cut through that intentionally, because I want it to grow off a little bit softer.
Yeah.
That's what Carlos does with his hairline.
Yes.
There you go.
Really, absolutely great work, good touch, feel good. It's back to a nice length.
Happy?
Yeah, overall really pleased with that, yeah.
Thanks for watching this video. Beardbrand has launched a private community called The Alliance. It's for men who are looking to invest in themselves and who are looking to keep on growing. Click the link over there and come join us, or stick around and watch some more awesome videos.